Right here. Oh, I needed that. Hey.
Hey, there goes one. Hey, you shot my cow.
Hey there, Myles from Go-nee-uh Outdoors, and today I'm going to be talking about this thing. This is the Mossberg Blaze 47. Just a little 22 plinker, but this was one of the first guns that I'd gotten. I got it as a Christmas gift from my dad because I saw it at Jay's Sporting Goods a couple of years back. Caught my eye. I couldn't stop putting the thing down, so he decided one trip to just go and get it for me. So to be completely honest, there isn't much to talk about with this particular gun. So I'm going to be using it as an excuse to talk about the AK-12 and the AK-100 series. So, speaking of the AK-12 and the AK-100 series, it's, of course, a variant of the basic Kalashnikov rifle. To go all the way to the beginning of that, in 1947, of course, Mikhail Kalashnikov designed the AK-47. He was a tanker vet from the Soviet military and decided that the PPSH wasn't all that great and wasn't perfect for the Russian military. So he designed the AK. Now the PPSH, while being great, it wasn't all that perfect. It had a very high rate of fire, and it fired a 30 caliber cartridge, which 30 caliber at 1200 rounds per minute, you do the math. Now the basic idea of the intermediate cartridge came from the Germans back in World War II with the Sturmgewehr, jammered in 7.92 by 33 millimeter. It was a cut down version of the 8 millimeter Mauser, and this thing dominated. The Sturmgewehr was brilliant. However, Hitler didn't really like it because he thought it was too stupid. There's no other way to put it. He didn't like it, and he didn't like the idea of an assault rifle. He more shifted toward a submachine gun and a bolt-action rifle. Now, back to post-World War II Russia. The Russians had designed the 7.62 x 39 cartridge in 1933, and Kalashnikov designed his automatic rifle for the intermediate cartridge. At first, it was a submachine gun in an intermediate cartridge. I mean, two and two together, that's an assault rifle. In 1959, he wanted to make the rifle easier to manufacture, lighter, and more accurate. So he made the AKM. Now all it really did was improved on the classic AK design. It took use of a stamped receiver instead of a milled receiver, meaning the metal was bent into place to make the receiver instead of it being cut out. And he added a muzzle brake on it, which you don't really think of a muzzle brake when you think of an AKM, but that little slanted muzzle brake is slanted in a certain direction for a reason. It's slanted to the upper left, so that way when the gun kicks back, it usually goes back and upright. Now what the slanted brake did was pointed the gases in the other direction, so it mitigated that kickback and kick up. I actually fired an AK with a slanted brake on it, and it recoiled downward. It was really weird to fire. Now there's one main issue with the 7.62 x 39. Its energy potential. It has a ton of energy behind it, but instead of tending to go through a target, it dumps all its energy into going into the target. So instead of penetration, it focuses on damage potential. So the Soviets designed the 5.45 cartridge to aid in accuracy and penetration power. In 1974, he made the AK-74. You see the pattern here? That's the Russian naming convention. It's simple, it works. Actually, the Russian naming convention is so simple. AK-47 literally means three things. Automat Kalashnikova, which means Kalashnikov's assault rifle, and 47, the year it was made. That has been the Russian naming convention since World War II, I believe. As the same thing with a ton of other Russian guns, like the PPSH, Pistolet Pulemyot Shpagan, which is Shpagan's submachine gun, made in 1941. In 1991, the Kalashnikov concern made the AK-74M, which was a modernized version of the 74. For the last 50 years, Russia's design principle has been make the AK better, because it's just that good. If it ain't broke, don't fix it, like I said in the last video. And in the 90s, they wanted to make the AK as modern as possible. And so they came out with the 100 series, with from 101 to 105, with 5.56, 7.62, and 5.45 for the most accessibility possible. They came out with full-size and carbine variants of all three calibers, which ultimately led to the development of the AK-12. This thing had been designed since the 2010s, and my personal favorite variant of it is the 2011 version of it. That thing is sweet looking. And the AK-19. I really like the way the AK-19 looks. Now to the actual gun itself. This gun was made back in 2015 by the Mossberg company to get their share in that 22 market. Now forever, brands like Ruger with the 1022, Winchester, Remington, they had dominated the 22 market. So Mossberg wanted to get their piece of that with this. Now I don't exactly know if it worked, because they ended up discontinuing this thing. They still sell the magazines on the store, but this thing is nowhere to be found. On their website, there's like no mention of this thing. It came in a black synthetic configuration with a traditional rifle grip, which is just the Blaze instead of Blaze 47. This is the Blaze 47 in the tactical variant with the tan. They made the black and the tan in the tactical variant and a wood grain variant. All right, so I got 10 rounds of 22 arms core. Had it loaded up, and it's got a transparent magazine follower, so you can at a glance see how many rounds you have. Go with the manual arms again. The fire selector. This forward is safe, up is fire. And I think, is it loaded? And load the weapon. Put it in fire and shoot it. Like I said, the last round bolt hole open. It's held open by the magazine follower. When you take the magazine out, much like an actual Yugoslavian AK, it drops. Now I'm going to talk about the features and looks of this rifle and the manual of arms as well. Comes with the tactical variant comes with a buffer tube and an adjustable stock, which you press here like an AR. And what's neat about this, these little holes here in the stock are QD mounts for a sling, where you just throw it in and press the button and it locks in. There's also one on the bottom right there. That's where I like to put it, right there. And there's also a classic AK sling mount on the gas block, which is just a piece of plastic. There's nothing in here. Moving up from the buffer tube, we have the fire selector, which is ambidextrous on both sides. And it has a removable pistol grip. This is like a traditional potato style Russian grip. And the magazine release is a little funky, but it works really good actually. That little tab right there, you push that in and rock the magazine out and rock it back in. And the charging handle right here on the right side of the weapon locks back on the last round. But ours is so dirty, because we'll get to that in a minute, that it just locks open on its own. And if you smack it hard enough, it closes. God, I really need to clean this thing. Neat little feature of the magazine, you can push the follower down. This is becoming more increasingly common on 22s, which helps in loading, so you're not pushing against the spring pressure, you're just dropping the rounds in and pulling the tab down. This is one of two configurations it comes in. It comes in 10 round and 25 round mags. This is a 25er. This one looks the most accurate to the AK. And of course they have to make 10 round variants for the California and Canada compliant versions. Features an adjustable glow sight in both the upward and left and right positions to turn these knobs. And I don't know if it's supposed to do this or if this is how it adjusts, but it kind of bounces a little and wiggles around a little bit. I don't know if it's supposed to do that. And the handguard. It features 3 vent holes, much like that of a Yugoslavian pattern AK, instead of a Russian with 2 vent holes. To the gas block, this has a 45-degree gas block like the original AKs, instead of a vertical perfect 90 in the newer AKs like the 100 series. And it also has a full-size configuration for the barrel, as in the front sight is disconnected from the gas block. In the carbine variants of the actual AK, the front sight is here on the gas block. And it has a foam muzzle brake on it, just with cutouts, and with grooves, no actual cutouts for anything to vent out of. It's a 22, you don't need a muzzle brake. Now, usually this is the section where I show how to take the gun apart and how to clean it and all that. But to be completely honest, this gun's kind of a nightmare to take apart. There's a ton of screws and a lot of stuff you gotta hold on to. There's a bunch of steps involved, and it's really involved, and it takes a long time. So I'm just gonna skip out on this one this time. We plan on getting a side mount for a scope, about right here, on this to make it accurate to what an actual AK scope mount would be, because they work on a dovetail mount where you flip a lever open, slide it over the mount, which is held in there by the receiver pins, and you close it, and it's either a Picatinny mount or something like a PSO or a Cobra. Because I think last time we took this apart was about a year or two ago, we tried to see where we could put a Picatinny rail on the top, because a side mount would be too extravagant for this little 22. However, I think we came to the conclusion that we can only put a side mount on it because there's no room up top for a Picatinny rail. I'm Myles from Go-nee-uh Outdoors. Thank you for watching. Support the troops, think of vet, go catch some deers.